Hi guys, welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you're new here. My name is Samantha, and as you can see by the title of today's video, I'm going to be talking about my labor and delivery story. So if you watch any of my previous videos, you may notice that I have a change of scenery. So now I'm currently in my daughter's nursery, which was a long time coming, honestly, but it's coming along. It's not done yet. I kind of just have, the crib and this little decoration with her name, but probably whenever I have it completed, I'll do some kind of like nursery tour or a video about like how I put it together, but we'll see. In this video, we're going to be talking about my labor and delivery story, and I may have some interruptions because my daughter is actually in her crib right now. She won't go down for a nap, and I feel like I need to stop procrastinating on filming this video, so she will be my co-star today. But yeah, let's get into it. Okay, so let me preface by saying that I gave birth 5 months ago. It is now August that I'm filming this, but I gave birth back in late February. So again, this is a long time coming, but let's backtrack. So leading up to my delivery, I was actually only 38 weeks when I went into labor. 38 weeks and I think 3 days or something. This is not gonna work. Say hi. Yeah. Okay, so I had to make a few changes. So I finally got her to go down for a nap because that was not going to work. And now I am sitting on the floor because the chair that I was sitting on is very uncomfortable. So yeah, so let's do this again. But yeah, I'll be going over all the details of my labor and delivery story. So to start, the night before I actually went into labor, I was filming a YouTube video. I'm pretty sure I was filming my 3rd trimester recap video, and maybe something else, but I can't remember. That was so long ago. But yeah, I was filming. I think I probably started filming around like 8, and then I finished up around midnight. And at that point I was like 9 months pregnant, so I was exhausted. So at that point I just got ready for bed and I was ready to go to sleep. Mind you, I was filming in the bedroom, so my fiance was awake, not awake, but he was like chilling on the couch in the living room waiting to come to bed, so he wouldn't disturb me while I was filming. So we both go to bed, and probably around like 3:10, 3:15, somewhere around there, I feel the need to get up and pee, which is normal, for a pregnant woman. You really feel like you have to pee every second, especially at that stage when like all that weight is sitting on your bladder. So I go pee, but then I'm also feeling some like abdominal discomfort, very similar to what I was feeling whenever I would have Braxton Hicks contractions, and I think I started experiencing Braxton Hicks around like the 7-month mark, and for some women I guess it's not painful, but for me it was. From what I see online and what doctors say, like it's supposed to feel like a tightening around your belly, but for me it just felt like really bad cramps, which is pretty similar to what labor pains are on a smaller scale, because labor pains are so much worse. But yeah, so I thought it could be that, so I figured like let me wait it out for a bit. And then I think I tried to go back to bed. I couldn't get comfortable, like I'm still feeling it. And then I think I stood up at some point, and like I was just like standing next to the bed like a weirdo staring at my fiance, and at some point I just woke him up and I just said like, I was feeling some pain or whatever, and then he's basically asking like, is it Braxton Hicks, and like, do I want to go take a walk to like help the pain like ease up, or bounce on the exercise ball or whatever. And I think I opted for the exercise ball. I don't know, I think that's what I said. Yeah, so we went into the living room, and he's exhausted, as I said. And I'm just trying to figure out what the heck is going on, because at that point I was 38 weeks and 3 days. So I was at a point where I could give birth any day, anytime. But I was thinking, probably it's not gonna be until like 39 weeks, you know, closer to 40, you know, or I was hoping, because side note, I was working up until that day, that night or whatever. So like with my regular like 9 to 5 job, like I don't know why I did this, and I advise like any pregnant woman, if you can take maternity leave earlier than like a good amount of time earlier than your due date, do that, because those last 2 weeks you really could go into labor at any time. And something I was looking forward to was having some time to just relax and rest before I gave birth, without having to worry about work or anything, and just, you know, do little touch-ups around the house, you know, like nesting and stuff, and just chill, you know, vibes. Like I wasn't trying to do anything. But fortunately for me, the same day that I stopped working is the same day, or that night, after I stopped working, my last day of work, I went into labor. So, which is crazy. But anyway, where was I? Yeah, so we're bouncing on the ball. Well, I'm bouncing on the ball in the living room, and he's just, you know, trying to see what he could do, like, you know, helping me stretch and massages and stuff, because they said usually for Braxton Hicks, like sometimes changing positions and stuff like can help alleviate it and whatever. Nothing's working. So at that point, I'm just like, maybe this might be the real thing. So I think I said, oh, maybe we should time them, because I noticed that it was getting more frequent and a little bit more painful. So I'm like, usually Braxton Hicks does not do that. So, and that's the thing, like, it wasn't like a long ongoing pain, which, as for me, Braxton Hicks just felt like one pain, if that makes sense. But this was kind of like in and out, like contractions. So I'm just like, okay, this is weird. So I think when we first started timing it, it was like 5 minutes apart, maybe like lasting like a minute each, I think, something like that. And then after maybe like 20 minutes, it was like 4 or 3 minutes. So it definitely was getting closer, or like more, you know, frequent. And I think it was still probably about like a minute, but I'm really not sure. So at that point, we're like, okay, let's call the OBGYN. So I called the OBGYN office, or the on-call, whatever, and a doctor does answer, but they're not my specific doctor that I was seeing regularly. And I don't know, for some reason I really just didn't like her dismissiveness. Maybe it's because, you know, they get those calls all the time, and like, you know, false alarms and stuff. Maybe she was really tired. I don't know what it was, but it just seemed like she just was like, okay, whatever, like, you know. So when I was asking like if I should go to the hospital, she was like, well, if you feel like you need to, because I don't know if you're contracting. So if you want to go to the hospital to confirm if you're contracting, then, you know, go ahead. So I was just like, okay, whatever. So pretty much we decided we're gonna go to the hospital. My hospital bag was already packed. By the way, if you haven't watched my what's in my hospital bag video, check that out. But yeah, my hospital bag was already packed, and my fiance didn't pack anything. I know some like guys do, but he didn't. His thing was that he wasn't planning on like showering there or anything or whatever, because we didn't live very far from the hospital. So if he needed anything, he could just go back home really quick and come back, or whatever. So he just, I think all he did is just like pack like, or bring like a hoodie, a pillow, and a blanket, because, you know, the hospitals don't really supply those very much for like the dads, and like the beds that they offer them are pretty uncomfortable. So he packed that. I think he brought like a speaker, you know, so we could listen to some music, and like we just brought like some water, snacks, and like other things like body armor and coconut water, which is good for breast milk production. So that was more for me. But yeah, so everything was pretty much good to go. The car seat, I think, was, well, the car seat base was already installed in the car. We just needed the car seat, so he brought that down to the car as well. Brought my hospital bag, all those extra things, and I was kind of just getting dressed. I think he was able to take a quick shower. I wanted to take a shower, but I could not through the pain, so I think I just got dressed and I brushed my teeth. Yeah, but he took a shower because he wasn't even sure when we would be back there, or he would be back there. So yeah, and then after that, we're driving to the hospital. Hi guys, so we're on our way to the hospital. It's currently 5:36 in the morning, on a Saturday morning. So a couple of hours ago, I did start feeling some discomfort. I thought it was maybe like Braxton Hicks or something and it'll go away, but for the past hour or so, it's been pretty consistent. I'm not 100% sure if it's contractions because I've never had contractions before, but it is coming pretty regularly, like, you say like every 3 or 4 minutes. So we're headed to the hospital. I did call my OBGYN and they said just go ahead so they could check if I'm contracting. I'm kind of hoping it's a false alarm because I don't know if I'm ready to give birth, but at the same time I am hoping it's not a false alarm because I don't want to go to the hospital for just no reason. So there's that, but we're on our way there, so I'll keep you guys updated. As for the pain, it's kind of just like a dull ache in my lower back, and then sometimes, like, well, whenever I guess I'm contracting, it peaks and it's more of like a sharp pain, and it lasts maybe like 20 seconds, 30 or something, but my lips are dry, but whatever. But yeah, like, I think even like right now as I speak, I'm experiencing I'm still feeling the pain, but it's not too bad. Like, I'm able to have like casual conversation, but I'm still feeling it, you know. By the time we get there though, which is probably 15 minutes, I think it was a 15-minute drive. Yeah, it was about 15 minutes. By the time we get there, I'm like, yeah, this is getting bad. So I'm sitting there in the lobby seating area at the maternity ward so we could check in. I think we were waiting on somebody to check us in, and I'm just like, oh my gosh, like, why are they taking so long? Eventually somebody does come and we get checked in, and then they send us into the maternity ward area. And like, I think at that point we see like the nurse's desk and they just ask me a few questions, and they just do the regular, like, they get me into a room, tell me to undress, get into the gown, and what else happened? I think they hooked me up to an IV at that point, and like all the cords and straps around the belly, you know, monitoring like the baby's heart rate and monitoring my contractions and all this stuff or whatever. So at that point I had a nurse, some like short, I think she was like Filipino lady, right? So that was like nurse number 1, and she's like, you know, going through all the information with me and asking me questions and whatnot. And then she was saying that she just needs to confirm that I was contracting. So she did indeed confirm that I was contracting for sure, but I guess they weren't sure like how far along I was or whatever. So I'm not sure if anything else happened, but I think at some point after that she checked my cervix to see if I was dilated. And when she checked my cervix, I was only 1 centimeter dilated. There was no dilation. So I'm just like, oh my gosh, like, so I'm like, am I not in labor? Like, what's going on? So they decided to just like have me stay there for a bit while I was contracting to see if I would dilate while I'm there, right? And yeah, so I think she was getting off her shift because we got there probably around like 5:30 in the morning. Mind you, I started feeling these pains or sensations around like 3 something. So like 2 hours later, we're at the hospital or whatever. And yeah, 5:30, I think she's gonna get off at like 6, and then the next nurse is gonna come. So the next nurse comes, so it's like some blonde lady or whatever, so that's nurse number 2. And she's basically, you know, asking me similar questions, getting up to speed or whatever. And like her and the nurse are like exchanging information, or the first nurse is giving her information as to what's going on or whatever. And nurse number 2, I think like she just decided also to just like let me just chill there, wait it out and see what was going on. And I think maybe an hour or 2, I think probably like 2 hours later, I think they probably checked my cervix again. And yeah, in that time, like I still was not far along at all. So I was still, I think, 1 centimeter, which to me is nothing. So it's basically nothing. So at that point, I'm just like, what is this pain for if I'm not even dilating? Like, I don't understand. And she's saying like, oh, so we'll probably, you know, just have you go home. It's probably is Braxton Hicks contraction, so just try to rest, drink plenty of water, like you may be dehydrated, and yeah, like, you know, eat, take it easy and whatever, and like see if it goes away basically. And I'm just like, oh my gosh, like, okay. So at that point I'm thinking, I'm not in labor for real, like I'm just having Braxton Hicks contractions that's not going away, which I don't really know anything about giving birth or whatever. At that time I didn't really know anything about it to that extent, so I didn't think to like, you know, second guess any of that. So I'm just like, okay, like let me just go home. And I think probably, so that was probably like around like closer to like 7 something in the morning, and then I think we ended up leaving the hospital by like 9. So again, she just reiterated all those things. I think they asked us if we wanted breakfast and stuff there, but we ended up not eating anything there. So we got some breakfast. So we left and we got some breakfast on our way home. But on our way home, the contractions was getting so bad. And I'm just like, how the heck is this Braxton Hicks? Like, I really need like some kind of medication or something for this, because if this is not actual labor, then this is crazy. Like, yeah. So it was getting really bad. I'm trying to breathe through the pain, not really think about it too much, and, you know, just trying different breathing techniques and whatever. And we're making like multiple stops. So I think we stopped at like this Jamaican restaurant to get like a Jamaican style breakfast, like ackee and saltfish or something like that. And I think we also stopped at Starbucks because I wanted an iced matcha latte or whatever, because that was something I was really like into at the time. I'm still into it, but at that time I wanted it like almost every other day. But anyway, so we stopped for that. And then I think we might have stopped somewhere else for something, but I really can't remember. So we ended up going home, and it's a Saturday. So mind you, like that night before was like early Saturday morning. So I was filming like Friday night into early Saturday morning, and by the time we get home, it's like regular Saturday morning, like 10 a.m. or whatever. So we're home. I'm trying to relax. My fiance is trying to get me to eat. I'm like taking these little bites, but I really can't eat anything. Like but yeah, I'm taking like little bites of the food, but I really can't eat anything. Like, I'm just feeling all this pain every time I'm trying to like eat or drink water, and he's trying to hydrate me like crazy. Like, honestly, like I'm not even sure if the amount of liquid that I drank at the time was even good for me, because my when you're pregnant, like you don't have as much space for your stomach to expand. So I'm just like, how am I supposed to eat this food, drink all this, and endure this pain? Like, it's not working. So at that point, I'm just like, F the food. I'm just gonna chill on the couch. And I think he ended up finishing eating, and he set me up with like water and whatever. And we just like laid on the couch, and I think I was able to take like somewhat of a nap, for like 20 minutes. Because at that point I had not slept. Neither of us had slept. So we're both really tired. He napped, so we were like, kind of like cuddling and stuff, but I couldn't really get into a deep sleep, but I did manage to like close my eyes for a bit and whatever. I think the pain like was subdued enough for me to sleep a little bit, but obviously it wasn't enough in comparison to a whole night missed of sleep. So I think probably around like 12 or something, we moved to the bedroom, and he's trying to like give me some snacks, like some Teddy Grahams or something or whatever that we had in the house, and trying to keep me hydrated. Again, I could not finish my food, so I think he ended up finishing my food. But prior to that, prior to me moving to the bedroom, before we even took the nap, I threw up. So all of the liquid, all of the food or whatever that I was trying to eat just came right back out. Like, I don't know if it was because of the pain or whatever, but I could not handle it, so I threw up. After that, there was like a huge mess in the bathroom. My fiance is great, so he ended up cleaning up everything. I couldn't do anything. So yeah, and I think I might have like brushed my teeth and just went to go lay on the bed. And then so then after that, we're in the bed, and I'm trying to just endure or whatever, and it's getting worse. So then it's getting worse, and I'm just feeling like, okay, this is not going anywhere. Like, I may have to go back to the hospital. And like my fiance's asking, like, do you want to go back? And I'm like, I'm not sure. I don't want to go back, and they send me home again if it's not actual labor. And I think at some point he's tried to get me to hydrate some more with some like water or something, or body armor, or maybe both, and then trying to get me to like eat a little snack or whatever. Same thing happens again. I throw up. So I felt the need to throw up again, and I think this time he got like a bucket, whereas before I threw up in like our half bathroom, and yeah, that was not good. But this time I threw up in a bucket, and it was a lot easier of a cleanup. And then I think at that point, like, he called his mom, and I think we might have called my mom too to let them know what was going on. And yeah, I think his mom said like, yeah, like take her back to the hospital or whatever, or take me back to the hospital. So we end up reloading the car again with our stuff. I'm not even sure we brought everything up, like my hospital bag and stuff, but I think there was a couple of things that we had to bring back down to the car. So we end up going back down to the car with our things and driving back to the hospital. And I'm just like, oh my gosh, like, this pain is excruciating. Like, it's getting worse by the minute. And I'm just like, this has to be something. Like, if it's not labor, something is wrong. Like, I need medication. I need something. Like, at that point, something was medically wrong, like, if it wasn't labor. So we get back there, and we get checked in again and all of that. And what happened? Like, we get checked in, same process. They brought us to like a little room. I think it's called triage. I don't know. One of you nurses who may be watching, you let me know. But I think it's called the triage room or something, before they take you to like the main, like, your labor room, I guess. So yeah, they get me checked in, the IVs hook me up to all the things once again, and they're like, I think they said my contractions were stronger at that time, and like, definitely I was contracting for sure. And they decided to do another cervix check to see how much I was dilated. And at that time I was dilated 5 centimeters, and I'm just like, oh my gosh, like had you guys kept me, I would not have to endure all this pain, you know, for the last 12 hours with no medication when I was actually in labor, you know. Granted, I was glad that I was able to get halfway naturally laboring at home in the comfort of my home, but truthfully I think I would have preferred, I personally think I would have preferred to be at the hospital where I could ask for an epidural. But you know, shout out to those who do it natural all the way through. But I was like, child, it is, at that point I was like 12 hours into it. I could not do it anymore. So I think by the time we got to the hospital, probably around like 2 p.m. in the afternoon, I think by the time they confirmed that I was in labor, as 5 centimeters, all that was maybe like closer to 3. I think I got settled into the labor and delivery room. They asked me if I wanted asked me if I wanted an epidural. I said yes. And they're gonna get the anesthesiologist set up to come do that. So I don't think I actually got the epidural until closer to like 4, maybe like 4:30. And I don't think I really felt relief, like real. I might have felt relief immediately, I don't remember, but I think it was closer to like 4 is when like I got the epidural. And I was just chilling at that point. Like I still felt some things, but I was just chilling. The epidural itself is really weird. Like it definitely made the pain kind of just dissipate a bit, but it's like my legs felt kind of like numb and like tingly, and then on top of that I was like shivering, and I'm just like, what the heck? I'm like, I don't know what kind of drug this is, but the pain was gone, so that's all I was concerned about. So at that point I was like, okay, like let me just chill. I think we told my mom that I was like checked into labor and delivery, so she was headed there. She was like on her way. I think she probably got there probably like closer to like 6 p.m. or whatever. And then at that point I told a couple of my friends who wanted to be there as well, which in hindsight I'm not sure if I would have had everyone that was there. Like I don't know, I kind of liked the feeling when it was just me and my fiance, because I feel like extra people just made it a bit more overwhelming at some point. But at the same time I did really appreciate having that support and like, you know, the memories and stuff like that. But I don't know when I have like a next child if I would want that again. I don't even know if that's possible, because I don't even know where I'll be living by the time I have another one. But so yeah, so my mom is there. I think maybe an hour or so after her, one of my really close friends, she gets there, and yeah, like things are moving along. Like I think pretty much every hour at that point I was going up another centimeter. So after they confirmed that I was 5 centimeters, I think maybe an hour and a half after that I was 6 centimeters. An hour and a half after that I was 7 centimeters, then 8, and then 9. 9 is the one that gave me trouble. So mind you, I'm going through all of this at this point at the hospital, and I'm not in as much pain because of the epidural, which is great. I think I probably had some music on, I was chilling. One of the nurses, by that time I had another nurse, so nurse 2 is gone and I have nurse 3, and nurse 3 is the one that I actually like labored with for the rest of the way, and then I gave birth. So nurse 3, she's telling me like, you really need to try to sleep, get your rest and whatever, and I just couldn't sleep. Like I don't know if it was because of like just being in a hospital bed, like even though I was exhausted I just couldn't sleep, or maybe like, you know, everyone being in the room, like I don't know. And you know how like they make jokes about like how nurses say that you need to get rest, but then like they're popping into your room like every 5 minutes. Like how am I supposed to sleep if you're popping in to ask me questions? But anyway, so by the time I'm 9 centimeters, it's like 9 o'clock. So I'm I'm like, you know, thinking like, okay, I'm about to give birth like really soon, probably like, you know, 10:30, like she's definitely gonna come tonight. Mind you, it's Saturday night at that point. I'm like, she's definitely gonna come tonight and whatever, right? Wrong. So at that point, I think they told me I couldn't drink water anymore. And they've been told me that I couldn't eat, which I already knew that that's the protocol for most hospitals. But I'm just like, dang, like I can't even drink water. So I'm like, okay, whatever. So they give me ice chips, and the ice chips are okay, like, you know, whatever. And so I keep losing my train of thought. So I'm eating the ice chips, just waiting to get to 10 centimeters, which to me is like not quite the finish line, but I could see the finish line. You know, if I get to 10 centimeters, it's like, okay, it's game time, right? So we're like, they're trying to call my doctor to see when he's gonna get there. And he's like, it's not that he was nowhere to be found, but I don't know what was going on with him. Granted, he had recently had a baby of his own, so I'm like, I don't know if he's just busy with his own wife and baby or whatever, but I'm like, I need you here right now, sir. So 10 o'clock comes around, still 9 centimeters. 11 o'clock comes around, still 9 centimeters. 12 o'clock comes around, still 9 centimeters. Mind you, this whole time, my water has not broke. So I'm telling you guys all of this, and this whole time my water has not broke. All of the pain that I was going through, both times I was in, I got checked into the hospital or whatever, my water did not break. And at that point I was 9 centimeters and my water still did not break, which is crazy. I didn't even know that was possible, to go that long, like labor, and your water didn't break, you know? So in like the nurse kept like, you know, checking my cervix and like trying to see what's going on up there. And she's like, she could feel fluid, you know, or whatever, but it's just like, it's not breaking. And they were saying that they didn't want to do anything to break it or whatever, because I wasn't quite at 39 weeks yet, even though I was 38 weeks and 3 days. But if I was already 39 weeks, they would just like break my water or whatever. But I guess they wanted it to happen naturally for whatever reason. So I'm just like, but I'm like, I'm already 9 centimeters. Like, why can't you just, obviously the baby's coming. So I'm just like, this doesn't make any sense, but fine, you know, whatever you guys want to do. And I'm like, oh, this is taking so long or whatever. So I'm hoping, you know, at least by like 1 or 2 a.m. something happens. Still, 1 a.m. rolls around, no baby, water's not broken. 2 o'clock rolls around, no baby, water's not broken. 3 a.m. rolls around, and at that point, that means I've been in labor for 24 hours, because I told you that I started experiencing the pain around like 3:10, 3:15 or something, which I kind of mark as the signifier that I was going into labor. So at that point, I've been up for 24 hours. I have not really eaten for 24 hours because everything that I've tried to consume, I threw up. I'm probably dehydrated at that point because I can't even drink water anymore. And I'm just over it. So I remember at 3 something in the morning, or when it was going on 3, I think I started like crying, like I know, like I started crying. And I was talking to, I think, my fiance, and I was just saying like, this is so frustrating, like I just want this to be over, because I think at that point like I was starting to feel the pain again, or like the pressure, because when you get an epidural, it does alleviate the pain of your contractions, but it doesn't alleviate the pressure of like the baby coming down through your birth canal. So I'm starting to feel that, and you know, I'm tired, obviously, you know, I'm hormonal because, you know, I'm pregnant or whatever, even though I was giving birth, but it's like I still have all these pregnancy hormones and all this stuff. So I think it was just so overwhelming for me, and I just had a moment, you know. But then it didn't last very long. I kind of got over it, and during the time that I was laboring and they wanted my water to break, like they tried different things, putting me in different positions, putting like the peanut ball between my legs to kind of like open things or whatever. None of that worked. Yeah, none of it worked. I'm not sure if there was anything else that could have been done, but you know, it is what it is. So at that point, yeah, 3 o'clock, and I think an hour later is when I finally reached 10 centimeters. I think I finally reached 10 centimeters. I think they were trying to get the doctor to come. He lived around the corner, so maybe that's why he didn't show up sooner. So he ends up showing up, and he's like going through things with me, saying like, okay, like, you know, we're gonna have to break your water, you know, since you're 10 centimeters, yada yada, like we're gonna do this and that and whatever. I really don't remember anything that man was saying, because literally as he was talking, my water broke, which is so crazy. I'm just like, was my baby just waiting for the doctor to get here? Like, I don't know, it was very weird. Like literally as soon as he was talking to me and he's like putting on his gloves, like I don't know if he was gonna break it, how he was gonna break my water, but he's like putting on his gloves, putting on his doctor gear or whatever, and I'm just like listening to him, and then I just feel like a gush of fluid, and I'm just like, this is crazy. So I'm just like, okay, I don't know what he said, but I'm like, okay, but my water just broke. And then he's like, oh great, whatever, right? So at that point he's prepping me to like push, he's giving me directions to push, and I'm just like, okay. And you know, everyone gets in position. I think like my mom was like right here, and like my fiance was like right next to her holding my hand and stuff. I'm not sure he was holding my hand, I think I had to hold my legs or whatever. So you know, everyone's like encouraging me, and like the nurse is guiding me through the pushing and stuff. And as I was pushing, it literally felt like burning. Like that's literally what it felt like. It felt like burning. Like I was pushing out fire or something. I don't know if it was because of her hair or whatever, but yeah, anyway. So I think I ended up pushing for a total of like 15 to 20 minutes. I really didn't push very long at all. And like I was not very loud, like I didn't make any noise, like I was in such a mindset of like, I need to get this baby out. The doctor was like, you're doing great. The nurse said like, yeah, like you did really good with like the pushing and stuff, because I was over it. I was like, I need to get this baby out. So I listened to everything they said. I was breathing through everything, trying to stay calm. I'm just like, in my head I'm telling myself like, I'm doing this for my baby girl, you know, like I did not leave any room for like fear or panic or anxiety or anything. Like I'm just like, I need to do this. I know God got me, so nothing's gonna happen. Like I have the strength and the ability to do this with ease, you know? And that's what I did. I ended up pushing her out with ease. It wasn't easy, but there was no complications with me pushing or anything. So after that, she comes out all 8 pounds and 2 ounces. So I did have a big baby. They ended up taking her to the little baby area where they get her cleaned up and stuff or whatever. Actually, she's crying right now, so I'll be right back. So she's here. I think I'm just gonna finish up the video while she's here in my arms. But yeah, she came out. She was very quiet, which is normal. Some babies cry like right away, some babies don't. So she was kind of just looking around, observing while I'm getting stitched up. So I had a 1st-degree tear, which is not bad. It means that I just had like a little bit of tearing or whatever. So he stitched me up after he got the placenta out and whatever, all the gross stuff. And the stitching honestly kind of hurt. I don't know if it was hurt more than the pushing part, but it really felt like burning a little bit, like not burning, like stinging. It was like a stinging sensation like from the stitches, but that ended up being fine. It didn't take very long. So, but yeah, so they get her all cleaned up, they bring her over to me, and the rest is history. So they just had me do like skin to skin, trying to breastfeed her, which she latched on really great. Like you know, right away and stuff. And yeah, there were no issues with her breastfeeding. And at that point, I was just exhausted. Like, I was proud of myself, but it felt really overwhelming. Like, what just happened? Like, I think something that people don't talk about is that, like, yes, you're happy your baby's there, but you also just went through such a traumatic experience. Like, you're just trying to figure out, like, what in the world just happened? How did I get here? How's this baby here? You know, so it was a lot of processing, but it was very nice, like, having that moment, those few moments with her, those early moments and stuff. And yeah, but we ended up staying at the hospital for about 3 days. They wanted to let us go at like two days, after 2 days, but we opted to stay a third day, which I don't know why we did that, because that's like increasing the medical bill, whatever. But we did end up staying 3 days. I think the third day we just felt like a little nervous going home as first-time parents with her, but there was really nothing to be worried about. But yeah, that's pretty much it. But yeah, I don't think there was anything else that happened during that time that stood out to me. Like, yeah, we were just, you know, spending time as a family, you know, taking pictures. And yeah, like, I think after a few hours after I gave birth, my fiance like left to go get me like Starbucks or something, or like just like something to eat, because I didn't want the hospital food breakfast and I could finally eat, so I was ready to eat. And he brought me like a big bouquet of like roses, you know, which was really nice. And yeah, like, I think after that everything was pretty smooth sailing, pretty standard. I think I'll make a video probably about like my postpartum journey, my recovery, and things of that nature in a different video, and probably also my breastfeeding journey as well. Not probably, definitely, I'm definitely gonna make a breastfeeding journey video. But yeah, like, if any of you guys have any questions about my labor and delivery story, or if you'd like to share anything about your labor and delivery story, I'd love to hear. But yeah, if you've enjoyed this video, please like, share, and subscribe, and leave a comment if you'd like. Be sure to turn on your notification bell. I have not been very consistent, but I do plan on being more consistent. So if you do want more of this kind of content, I am winding down on like the pregnancy stuff, because my labor and delivery story is kind of like the last of it. So now I think I'm going to be transitioning into more of like mommy stuff, like new mom things, you know, my breastfeeding journey, like I said, postpartum, and then probably more like lifestyle content as a new mom. So if you're interested in any of that, please subscribe and turn on your notification bell. But yeah, in that case, thank you guys for watching, and I hope to see you guys in the next one. Goodbye. No, she literally just woke up from a nap, so she's probably not even all that energetic because her nap wasn't that long. But see you guys next time.